Hi, this is Earthy Indigo, psychic medium, intuitive, and tarot card reader. This is celebrity psychic reading for Will and Jada Pinkett Smith. The first and strongest messages that comes through around them, the energies that are around them, it's a stillness around them. A stillness. It's a still energy around them, like a wall, a barrier, being alienated, blacklisted, blocked. They represent beauty. They represent, in a lot of ways, grace, style. Very revered and respected by a lot of people. But the energies that come through, especially that energy, that Hollywood thing, it's like the powers that be, the cults that are, the stigmas, the everything. It's like they got pushed out, blacklisted. It feels like Will had a foreknowledge, and he felt like he was being pressured to do things that he didn't want to do, or that he was no longer interested in doing. This feels sexually. It feels like he was being pressured or being almost stalked or taunted. It's an energy that they went through some really heavy shit, like some really heavy emotional Hollywood shit, and that they were all that they had. There does feel like there's a dualism in their relationship. I know that's been rumored for years, but the energy does feel like there is a dualism in their relationship. There are, if the energy feels like there are, spices and sexual fetishes and different things that they've been married for years. Whatever they do, evidently it works for them, but that energy does come through strong in that way, that they are very kinky and sexual and S&M-ish and all of that and more. But it feels like men in Hollywood wanted Will in ways that he just wasn't willing. He wasn't willing to sacrifice, and it feels like that was one of the main reasons why he started his entertainment company Overbrook and started making his own movies and being his own man. Of course, that's what all men ultimately want to do, be their own man. But he really did it because he was trying to get from up under the thumb, it feels like, of some very important people, and it feels like they didn't want to let him go, and they shut a lot of doors. Now, of course, through time, you have younger actors that come along. The stigma in Hollywood, it can only be the one, black guy or token black guy, or whatever the case may be. Will has mentored a lot of people, a lot of young black actors that come under him. He's had relationships with, professional and training, just being there as a guidance and being kind, like Jamie Foxx and Idris Elba. And Will's philosophy, the energy that comes from Will, is that there's room at the table for everybody. I'm rich. My wife's rich. We're fine. But his energy is open the door. Let everybody come through. That's Will's energy. He isn't so much concerned. But it does feel like the last 10 years have been up and down with him in depression. Because as much as he likes the door being open for others, the dip in popularity hurt him a little bit. He felt like he wanted to quit at some points. But it feels like Jada encouraged him, like, no, you have stories to tell, you're talented, you have ideas that the world needs to see. Even if they don't get what you're putting out right now and they don't gravitate and jump on it right now, the films that you're putting out and you're making, years down the line will have relevance. They'll have relevance. It'll be open to a whole nother audience. The game has changed. There's going to be a time where people won't go to the movies anymore anyway. They're just going to directly release a movie and people can purchase it and watch it at home. Get ready for that. Like, Jada was ahead of her time and Will was ahead of his time and starting an entertainment company, his own production company. And Jada was ahead of her time. It feels like energetically she was telling him, no, put these movies out, put it out, get out there, do it anyway. Because years down the line, the art will still be viewed and watched and you're still going to make money because people are going to purchase directly. Keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it, keep putting them out. And fuck what the critics are saying. Fuck all that. Fuck the awards. All of that. Put out the content. Because you're great. You're loved. You have a core group, a core audience that will view, purchase, show, and that's the energy. Like, she was just really a motivation and telling them, no, put the content out. Put the content out. But it feels like the energy around the entire couple, there is an energy that there is a blacklist or a blackwalled or pushed out. Like, it feels like there was a meeting that was had, different groups, and called here, we're all going to all get together. Will, no. Will, no. Will, no. Jada, no. Jada, no. If it's Will, if it's Jada, no. Tell them no. We won't do it. That's the energy. It's like, no. They got blacklisted, blackballed. But they were strong enough and they had enough foresight, it feels like, to have their shit in order for when it hit the fan. They had it in order. Of course, around their relationship, it's which everybody can see that's very free-spirited. Masculine and feminine energy are kind of wavering in the relationship between them both. Where you have Jada, she has more. It's like they definitely balance each other out. Where Will is more Venusian, he has more Venus energy. And Jada is more Martian-like, and she has more Martian energy, more Mars and dominant energy. Now, don't take away from Will, because he still is the man, he still is dominant, but they really work. It feels, the energy is like they really work with one another, and it's a balance. They're not afraid of switching roles. They're not afraid of quote-unquote gender switching, or quote-unquote, you don't have to be so hard with me. Quote unquote, you don't have to be so soft with me. It's fine. They work together well and it works for them. This energy around them is that they take breaks from one another. They take breaks. Of course, their house is large enough not to see each other for a few days if they don't want to. But they take breaks. It feels like they abstain for periods of time from having sex just to make it more interesting and beautiful when they do reconnect. It feels like they do take time apart from one another and they are focusing on themselves. And it feels like Will isn't the biggest fan of the breaks. It does not feel like Will is the biggest fan of wanting to be apart. It feels like that's more so Jada. The energy around Jada right now is that she's focusing really behind her children, focusing on her daughter and her music, really working with her daughter and her music, and just really enjoying her daughter and the music. It feels like she's really, really about that. she's about, of course, all of her children, but it feels like she's really working with Willow right now in her music, and you know, she's inspired by her. Is very inspired by her daughter and her music and her creativity and being a force behind her, motivating. She's like that with Willow and her music. It feels like she's that pageant mom. Feels like she's that pageant mom with Willow. With Jaden, it doesn't feel like so much pushy with him as she is with Willow. Feels like she's very, very, very Willow. Jaden, she loves him of course, to death. That's her child, but she kind of lets him do. Like, she'll give him more breathing room. She gives Willow breathing room too, but she still kind of hovers. It feels like that. It feels like the energy that comes from Will is that he completely, you may not see him much right now, like on the TV or like with the kids at the events, but he's really, there's a strong energy that he's always in their ears, telling them right from wrong, right from wrong, right from wrong. He feels like more, not necessarily, it doesn't feel like a necessarily disciplinarian, it doesn't feel like that, but he's trying to be the conscious of them, like trying to always, like, yes, do that, you're doing good, like, no, don't do that, that's not right. You know, he's that voice of reason. He tries to be the voice of reason. Jada, once you push her past a certain point, it just feels like she's putting the foot down. But they try to let them, it feels like they just try to let them be who they are and kind of flow into whoever they're going to be or whatever they're going to do. They don't want to stifle their creativity, yet they want to keep them safe. But there is the strongest thing that comes around them is that energy, is that they were blacklisted, blackballed. That comes through very strong. It was just fortunately enough, they were wealthy enough and popular enough to keep it going. But it feels like there are lots of people in Hollywood who are disheartened and just can't stand them. They can't stand them. It just feels like there are people in Hollywood, the powers that be at these studio houses, production houses, whatever, that can't stand them. And it feels like behind the scenes it was sexual. It feels like somebody wanted more than the Smiths were willing to give. It's like, okay, we were down to party. We were down to have a good time. We had a good time, but you just want to keep this going. And it feels like the Smiths just was not about keeping it going. It feels like they wanted to go back to the union of it just being them two. They wanted to go back to it just being them two in the union. Them two connecting and loving on each other. And it's like, we've had enough of what's out there. I want to devour you, Will. I want to devour you, Jada. Like, I want to engulf you. Let's not let all of it's time to go back to us. It's time to go back to our cave. It's time to go back. And it feels like whoever they were involved with was not ready for that. It feels like it was extreme jealousy. It feels like it was extreme hatred. It feels like if they weren't all very rich and popular, that restraining orders would have got filed, and that it would have got really ugly if it wasn't for the fact that the other people, the people at the studio houses, and it feels like it's a white man. Like, it just feels like he was very jealous, disheartened. He wanted more. How dare you X me out? How dare you push me to the side? How dare you cast me off like I didn't mean anything to you? Like, that's the energy that comes. And it was like, it felt like it took them forever to calm this person down and to get them to understand. It felt like it took sessions. It feels like it took sessions of, okay, we'll do this with you. Okay, we'll do that with you. But it's like they had to wean him off. And he still feels like he lurks. Very strange energy. Very strange energy from this person. Feels like he would have never gotten enough. Feels like they were dealing with people that would never have gotten enough. And it feels like over time they were just taking measures to protect themselves, taking measures to not be under the thumb so much of these people. The energy that comes up for them in the future is that they're going to be directly releasing content. At least Jada will. Feels like she's going to work on something where she directly releases content out straight to the public. Feels like she's going to be coming with her own show. She was ahead of the time when she did that nurse show on Lifetime. She was ahead of her time with that. Because that should have came out with, should have been a part like with Scandal and How to Get Away with Murder and all of that primetime lineup. That's the type of popularity that show should have had, and it was on the Lifetime network. And it was a great show. It was a great show, and she was ahead of her time. And it feels like she's working on something now where she'll be ahead of her time in doing it. But she feels like she's going to be directly releasing content directly to the public. Feels like over the next few years she's going to be doing something related. Like she's going to be doing something, working more with Essence. Doing something related to Essence, like the Essence magazine. It's like she's going to be doing something directly related to Essence. It feels like she may be doing something in talk as well. Like she may build a platform or do some type of platform where it's a talk show host, a talk show that she produces. And you may see her on there every now and again, but like younger people, younger tweens, teens, girls, it feels like they're going to have beautiful big puffy hair. They're, multicultural. Feels like it's some kind of talk show she may be producing in the future. That might be directly released to the internet or some type of web show, or it might go straight to TV. But it does feel like has her producer's hats on, and she's going to be releasing some content geared toward that market of, I guess, 16 to 35 or whatever. But it feels like it's youthful, it's beautiful, it's vibrant, it's multicultural, and it's going to be released. It feels like it's a talk show, something similar to The Real, you should say, or something like that, but for a younger audience with a multicultural host. Gives you that essence, that energy of The Real, that talk show The Real, but multicultural, younger people. Younger. Those are the energies that come through around Jada. She's going to be releasing a lot of stuff, it feels like, the next few years. Definitely. Really behind her daughter with the music. Really behind her daughter with the music. It feels like she pushes her. Will, the energy behind Will and what he's going to be releasing, it definitely feels like with Will, movies will come. But it feels like he's doing something where he's trying to figure out another way. Like Will and her are doing something where they release things, it feels like, direct to the public. It's like they're going to skip past movie theaters, even though that's where Will gets his bread and butter. But he wants to be ahead of the pack, and he's going to be doing something different. But it feels like movies will come, of course, from Will. And a lot of people it feels like, may look at it like it's a step back. going direct to the consumer the way he is in their homes, but it's the wave of the future, because it's going to get to a point where people no longer go to the movie theaters, and they're going to just release these movies with these big actors in it, and people will just buy it home. Now it will be a little bit, it will, since it's a new release with these actors, it feels like initially the price will be a little higher to watch it, because they're still going to promote it like it's a movies, like, oh, you got to see this, it's released on this day, if you watch it from this day to this day, it's like $24.99 or something, but if you watch it after XYZ, the price gets lower. That's what it feels like it's going to do. And he's working to be ahead of the pack. Doesn't feel like they're really concerned about being blackballed and blacklisted. Feels like they were more so now just working with their kids, making sure the content that comes across their desk is good, working on the writing. It feels like Will is reading scripts now, trying to see what he wants to do next. It feels like Will is even going to get behind somebody and push movies with a younger actor, produce movies with other actors, because for a long time with his Overbrook, it was just him, and the market has changed so much. It feels like he's going to come out with a stream of movies, heartfelt, related to love and relationships, some love and relationship type movies. It feels like he's going to come out with, but it's going to be another actor in it, another actor, young, talented actor in it, but he will be of course, like the executive producer, writer, creator. I don't feel like he's going to be the director, but he will be over it. It feels like that's their understanding where they are in the business, and it's like, we've been setting ourselves up for this. We've been behind the scenes, but now we're going to really take it there, and just really put on our production hats. They're really into their humanitarian efforts, it feels like. Feel like Jada would be doing something, releasing more documentaries. That came through really strong. Jada's going to be releasing documentaries. Will could also be the co-executive with her in these documentaries, but it feels like she's going to be doing documentaries highlighting issues that's going on around the world. Those may go straight to Netflix, but it feels like she's going to be doing documentaries and releasing those too, and it feels like that's where her passion is. Definitely feels like something with essence. Definitely feels like documentaries. Definitely feels like she's going to be producing some kind of talk show geared toward a younger, multicultural audience. With Will, the energy is that he's a smart man, he's a businessman, but with that energy that's coming through for him, it still feels like he's just trying to figure a lot of shit out. He has a plan. He's a man with a master plan, and he's been planning and working, but it still feels like with him, it's still uneasy, and he's still trying to figure shit out. That's the energy. Luckily, he doesn't have to figure it out while being broke. So that's a beautiful thing. But that's the energy that comes through from Will and Jada. Alright, I'm psychic, medium, intuitive, and tarot card reader. Click on the link in the description to book a reading. Remember, it's 3 questions for $10. I'm Earthy Indigo, and I love to read for you. Bye.